This is a meeting of the Suffolk County IDA Audit and Finance Committee. It's April 27th. And seeing that we have a forum for this meeting, we open it up. Number one, we have quick comments. Public comments can be mailed to Suffolk IDA at Suffolk County, New York.gov, or mailed to Suffolk County IDA. Under new business, we have a review of the financial report for December 22nd. So I'll hand that over.
Okay, included, Stephanie just handed around the package. Included in the package is a draft of the financial statements, the thicker package. I'll be going to that first. Starting on page 8, which is the balance sheet, the statement of net possession. I just want to point out a couple of things that are really different. Cash is up this year, but that's mostly due to just timing of bills, because also if you look at accounts payable is up down below. So you start having cash and down below, accounts payable is up. Also notice up in the asset section, this year you have a net pension asset, and the past you had a net liability. There's a further footnote which will explain why, and I'll go into more detail, but I just want to point out this is the first time it's actually been an asset, not a liability, as in the past. Liabilities also, you notice year to year under due to other governments, there's a big increase. And that's due to some people paying their pilots in advance on page 8 in the middle. And also some recapture money that was received near year end, which all has been dispersed by the state. And then down below is your net position, and it's actually increased from year to year. And I'll go through that on the next page, the change in your net position. On page 9 is your income statement, so to speak, your statements of revenues and expenses. This year we had our project closing piece is down. We did have 6 closings, but overall it's down. So revenue is down from year to year. Most of the other expenses are within line, within budget. What is up is obviously the interest on the deposits. The bank had consistently throughout the year increased the interest rate that the IDA was getting. And also it's a big increase of contra expense. If you look at the bottom, post-retirement health benefits, $166,000 the other way. So again, I'll go through that in the New York State Employee Retirement footnote. But that was a big change. So that bringing your liability significantly down created income, the nuance of accounting. Then I'll start going through the footnotes. Just year to year, I won't go through each one, but I'll point out some important things just to note. Over onto page okay, so on page 15 is your cash footnote where the cash and cash equivalents are. All of the cash of the IDA is secured by collateral agreements with third parties, and also first FDIC insurance for up to $250 and collateral with the rest. So I just want to point that out. The other thing that I do want to mention on the footnotes year to year is on page 21, and this is your New York State Employee Retirement System footnote. It starts off with the contributions, and as you can see, the contributions for the past 3 years have gone down, not up. You can also see here is your share of the whole pension system's operations is actually, you have a net pension asset based on your proportionate share, which is like 0.00731. It's very fractional, but in the whole system, you are in a net positive. And then on the next page, it goes through the deferred inflows of the pension asset, deferred outflows. The table that I always find interesting to look at is on page 25, almost at the bottom. This is the whole ERS pension fund. And this is also the first time I've seen this, where the pension liability is actually below the pension assets. So that created a big overfunding. It's always been underfunded, at least since I've been involved. I don't know if Tony knew any longer than that, but it's always been for the IDAs or for anybody who's a participant in ERS, it's always been overfunded. So that's a big change. And the big change, why it's overfunded, is mostly due to the changes in interest rates. There was hardly anything being reported for interest in the past few years, so it's a big change. Also, I wanted to mention on page 28, the other post-employment benefits, which is retired. That also has taken a favorable decrease and has gone down. The liability has gone down. Again, it's all because of the factors for interest rates. As the interest is higher, there's more to set aside, and also the demographics of the plan. Other than that, I don't know if anybody has any questions or wants me to go into anything in more detail. There are supplemental schedules which just well define that ERS footnote, which I described. And then Stephanie will hand out from Sheen will take you on to the opinions and the reports. Any questions? Thank you.
So again, since everyone's at the back of their financial statements where Lori left off, we'll start off on page 34. So page 34 is the independent auditor's report on internal control. And if we were to notice anything that would be a material weakness or a significant deficiency, it would be shown in this report. And as you can see, it's very thin. There's nothing of the sort mentioned in here. So no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies identified as part of the audit. If you flip back to the beginning few pages within the financial statement packet, this is the independent auditor's report. So this is our Sheehan and Company's report, independent auditor's report on these financial statements. And we're pleased to report that we're issuing what's called an unmodified opinion on the agency's financial statements. So nothing that we identified that would be a material misstatement within these financial statements. It's the cleanest opinion we could be giving the agency. Also within your packet are two other files, and again, these are in draft form. They are dated with the March 30th date because that was the date that we were originally scheduled to have our meeting. But once the full board does approve these financial statements and documents for issuance, they will be dated and finalized with today's date, the date of approval. But if we open up and look at the communication with those charged with governance, this is Sheehan and Company's letter to you, the committee, to the full board of the agency, and it's used as our direct communication with you to essentially report to you how the audit went. We use it to let you know whether there are significant estimates within the financial statements, and as Lori mentioned, there is an estimate for the net pension asset or liability, depending on the year, but in this year, the net pension asset. There's also significant estimates in terms of the OPEB valuation. There is an actuary that's used for all of these calculations. So those are big estimates, significant estimates within the financial statements. We also use this letter to let you know that we're going to be obtaining and actually obtained what's called a management representation letter. So it's a letter that management provides to us, it's signed by management, affirming to us that everything they provided or told to us during the audit is truthful to the best of their knowledge. And then we also use this letter to let you know whether there were any new significant accounting policies that were adopted by the agency this year. There was a new guidance that went into effect related to conduit debt obligations, but it had no significant impact on the agency's financial statements. And then the very last document, draft document within that packet is called the Schedule of Cash Equivalents and Investments. And this is a required report required by the New York Public Authorities law for any organization that has investments or cash. Cash for the purposes of this report is considered an investment. So it is a whole report to let you know about the cash balances that the agency has at December 31st, 2022. So again, there's clean opinions on this report. It's essentially a reiteration of the information and the cash information that was already presented by Lori within the financial statements. All of these are in draft form until approved for issuance, hopefully today. If there's any questions, certainly either Lori or I are happy to answer.
Are there any questions from the board? It's a personal statement. It's amazing to see over the last year how interest rates have adversely affected many parts of the economy, but as far as pension liability goes,
It's the opposite of that.
it was a positive benefit. Still. I'll entertain a motion to accept the report, the expert's report to the full board. Sandra motion. Is there a second? Greg with second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Entertain a motion. The committee, see there's no further business.
Motion.
Motion by Greg, second. Sarah, all in favor? Okay, thank you very much.